We Make Movies Film Geeks podcast, episode number 72.
Welcome to the We Make Movies podcast, making the world a better place, one film at a time. And now, here are your hosts, otherwise known as the director, the actress, and who the hell is that guy? Chad, Michelle, and Garrett.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the We Make Movies Film Geeks podcast, the podcast that's all about how to get your movie made, how to get it seen by other people, and how to get it awesome. I'm your host, Garrett Robinson. With me, as always, faithful co-hosts Chad Kukahiko and Michelle Lucadou. We are all of us independent filmmakers and members of the We Make Movies filmmaking community in Los Angeles. Hello, guys. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
How it's going?
How it goes?
How it's going? How's the thing?
Awesome.
It's good. Crazy.
My God, I am so freaking exhausted. I'm doing this whole cleanse program right now, which is 5 hours out of my day, spending a lot of time in a sauna, eating crazy, and just at the end of it, I'm just like, ugh, I don't want to move, but it's good. I feel so good.
Yeah. Except for I'm like, Garrett, you're doing a cleanse. Did you quit smoking? No.
They don't require that you do that. They do require that you don't drink, which is why I didn't come to We Make Movies last week. I was like, I'm not going to go to a place with free wine and then to a bar to hang out afterwards because I think I don't have that much self-control. I'm just gonna back away for a week. But anyway.
How long are you doing it?
Until I'm done. Until I'm good and feel done. Probably not much longer. Probably another few days.
Nice.
Yes. How about you guys? What's been going on? How's life?
Auditions for Interrogation last night, yesterday. Very, it was good. We saw a lot of good people. It was intense. It's always intense. I'm always exhausted after an audition day.
Right?
Yeah. I'm always exhausted.
Have we told the audience? Do they know what Interrogation is? Let's just refresh them.
I don't know. So I'm starting to co-direct with Art Chung, one of the newer members at We Make Movies, and because he's really good at camera and lighting and whatnot, but wants to be a director. Doesn't want to really be a DP, even though he makes money as a DP. And I'm kind of the other way around. I want to direct, but I know actors and I know them really well and I understand that kind of stuff. And so we're combining our forces. And Interrogation is a piece that he wrote. We were talking about finding a piece and whatnot, and finally he just wrote something, and it was kind of perfect. It leaves, it's like a cipher. The script is really good, and it has all these kinds of twists and turns, but it's really easy to not do well. So if you don't, and you have to, it leaves a lot for the actors to invest into the lines, but there's a lot, it's just filled with opportunity, and we had a lot of fun. We saw some really good people.
And you guys had it read at Writers' Night on We Make Movies, and it was received quite well. I quite enjoyed it.
Well, I'm glad you did.
I enjoyed it, so it was received quite well. Obviously, nobody else's opinion.
It wasn't. I don't think it was received as well as the opinion of the audience. No offense to the casting and whatnot of it. I just don't think that. Normally, when I have something read there that's that I really care about, I'll make sure that it's people who are going to do a lot of work. And this piece does require work for people to get.
For sure.
Yeah.
Anyway. I'll talk more about it later. In fact, if you don't mind,
it's versed up. So why don't we launch
true.
into our first thing, Chad? Tell us about it.
Well, this is the interesting thing. While we were scheduling these auditions all last week, and it's always when you have a full-time day job, and scheduling auditions, which I'm pretty insane about my auditions. I schedule them really tightly. We saw 60 people yesterday, and we saw them in pairs mostly. Not 60. I think it ended up being about 57. A few people didn't end up coming. Well, anyway, I got this email while scheduling the auditions from this actor named Frederick Lawrence. As you can tell, I have no bones about naming people when they deserve it. Anyway, Frederick Lawrence submitted to the project on my when I put up on LA Casting, and that's a whole other conversation. I know a lot of actors hate LA Casting, and it's only for commercials, blah, 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 but I just hate Actors Access's back end, and LA, anyway. Of course. Oh,
I didn't even go there, Garrett. I'm impressed. You guys have been hanging
You're
out with me too
impressed.
long.
Good. I'm glad you're
Good.
impressed. Anyway, so he submitted to the LA casting posting, and then he shot me an email back after I of course emailed him through the thing saying, hey, we'd like to see you, and he was like, oh hey, can you go ahead and send me this stuff again? Which by the way, it's already available on the posting. So when he submitted, it was completely available there. Anyway, so I was like, all right, no problem. Sent him the email, sent him the sites, and then he emailed me back, and he was like, you know what, I'm gonna pass. And I'm like, okay, whatever. It was at the end of a really long, hard day trying to struggle between my day job and the scheduling of these auditions when he did that. So I was a little upset, but I kind of reined it in, and I sent him back a really simple, super quick thing. It was, I can't remember the exact wording, but it was basically, understood, in the future feel free to not submit if you're not interested. That was it. And he like spat back in this really like vitriolic email. I can't even remember the specifics. I was so offended. I just immediately, after reading it one time, deleted it and put a, by the way, email filter so that anytime that guy emails me in the future, it'll go straight to my trash box, which is really easy, and I highly, highly suggest it if you tend to get emails from people you don't want to ever hear from again. So I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was really mean spirited. And he was like, well, I think I've been doing this longer than you, so I think blah blah blah. Basically, it was saying that your time does not matter as much as my time, so f you. That was basically what I got from the email, and I was like, super, thanks a lot, guy. And it's, I don't know him. I don't know. Maybe he's a nice guy in most instances in his life. Maybe his friends really like the guy, but. Like I said, the sides were there. They were available. He could have checked it out. It wasn't a ton of time of mine that he wasted, but I was at the end of a long day. And again, I thought my email was pretty fair. I mean, if it were me, I would have been like, you're right, I'm sorry. I was, blah, blah, blah. No big deal. And if he had said, by the way, I'm sorry at all, in that email where he said, I'm going to pass. There was no, I'm sorry, I'm going to pass. It was just, I'm going to pass. You know what I mean? And that just is, I don't know, it just was really, everything about it was really dickish. And I thought that was just really, and it's interesting to me because something else that happened later in the week, in perspective to that, kind of made me realize something. And let me tell you about the second thing that happened, so that you will get the whole story. I've been talking to this guy that I met recently, who's a really, he's a really nice guy. My experience with the guy has been really positive so far. He's helping with he's a good actor. He's got a lot of credits. And he actually, I sent him the script, and he really wanted to read for the role. And I invited him to the callbacks and whatnot. And he sent me an email response to that saying, oh, am I just reading with the other guy, or are there other people reading for the same role? And I immediately knew the kind of situation I had kind of gotten myself into, and I was like, oh man, I don't know him well enough personally to be able to express to him how important it is to me that I have the exactly right person for this. On the other hand, I do really like the guy, and I would love to work with the guy, and I've seen the stuff that I have seen from him is really good, and he's super charming and just a really charismatic guy, and I'd like to work with him, whether it's this piece or not this piece. I definitely want to work with him in the future, but I didn't want to just give him the role. And so when I was sending him the response email, it took me a while to write it because I wanted to make sure that he knew that I really respect who he is, but
so he had assumed that he was being offered the role, and then he would be reading with other people.
I think he had, and I think that but it wasn't. I think that maybe in my initial email I might have made it very easy to come to that conclusion. So I think I might have been partly at fault for that. Regardless, he sent me. By the way, he sent me an email back after writing that. That was really awesome, and I just really want to work with this guy, and he's really good. And it's funny, in light of the other guy. Who, does have some credits, but like primarily is a grip. The guy's like a professional grip, and he acts a bit on the side, which plenty of my friends are still
I
trying
just IMDb'd him, so, whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, it was just writing, but the writing of that email to the other guy, who I almost said his name, but I'm not going to say his name, writing of that other email, it made me realize something that is, I think, really kind of, it put sort of egos into perspective. And I know that in the past we've talked about this kind of thing a lot, but I don't think I've talked about it. I think I've been talking about it in one particular way. And I realized something, that two artists, actors included, ego is actually important. It is important to be able to to grow your ego to the degree that you actually think you are that you do have something special to give. I really think it's what gives a lot of actors that thing, that spark, that thing that, and not just actors, other artists, when they do their thing, that it gives them that extra oomph. Obviously, you want to keep it in check in your personal interactions with people so that you're not treating them all like, like slugs or whatever. But you do actually need to be able to cultivate it in regards to your art, and I realized, that dichotomy is actually really interesting, because I don't actually, part of me was feeling like, oh, I hate that I have to write this email and blah blah blah, but then on the other hand I was like, you know what, if I didn't have to, then probably people wouldn't feel that they were as important and they wouldn't give as much good work. Yeah, you know what I mean? I mean, I know that's a weird concept.
Well, I mean, I think in today's society, the word ego has negative connotations, and I don't think it needs to. And actually, this speaks to one of my segments too. I think that any good artist has a confidence in what they're doing that comes across, and that, like, the more you do it, the better you are. And I mean, and that's actually why, partially why I IMDb'd this douchebag, not the first douchebag. I was like, does he have
you mean
license?
Frederick Lawrence?
Yes, Frederick Lawrence. I was like, does he have license to be a dick? Like, does he? I mean, because there comes a point where, like, you should be kind to everyone. Don't be a douche, because everybody wants to work with people that are nice. This other person that you're talking about that you would like to work with, would you want to work with him if he were a dick? He's talented. He's
not a dick. That's part of why I really want to work with this guy.
That's what I'm saying. People want to work with people that are good people. If you're going to be in set with somebody for 13 hours, you hire people that you enjoy being around. Yes, talent factors in, but, so if you're like ridiculous talented.
These group values, the sixth value should be don't be a dick.
Don't be a douchebag.
Yeah, okay. I think it's implied by all five.
It is, for sure.
It really is.
Make it fun while you make it kind of doesn't leave room for behavior.
But there are two sides of ego. There are two sides of confidence, and I think that's interesting. It's the perfect juxtaposition of the two sides of being a confident actor.
And the thing that I want to add to it is that I mean, not add because I kind of already said it, but I want to accentuate and make sure that I get this across, is that it's actually part of your job as an artist to be able to cultivate that part of your ego. You actually, because I know so many people who beat themselves up over their art. Oh, it's not perfect. It's never going to be perfect, man. You gotta, you know what I mean? And that is what I really, really, really appreciate about this guy, the second guy in particular, is that he's got both. He understands, and I completely understand why he would be like, well, you should just give it to me, though he was super nice in the way, and in fact, he didn't say that. He never said that. He thought I was just, and again, I think that was probably my fault. But you should think like that. But a super quick side note, one of the guys that submitted, he was like, I called him up, and he was like, yeah, you saw my reel, right? You need me to audition? I was like,
you know what's interesting?
Ballsy. Stupid, but ballsy.
He was good, but he wasn't that good, for Christ's sake. I mean, Jesus.
We haven't mentioned on the podcast, but like I'm involved in the project as well, peripherally.
Yes.
But yes, absolutely excited about like helping produce. And I got a message from someone that I hadn't heard from in a very long time, like over a year, who had owed me something that he never delivered on. And the message was, hey, so excited to audition or to come in for that you're doing this film. I owe you that thing. I'll get it to you this week. And I was like, oh, no, this is not how this works. This is not remotely how this works. This is no.
Wait, you think he was like bribing you for the role or something?
Yuppers. I'm pretty sure
okay,
it was like.
Chat to me who that was, because
I will chat to you who that was. I think you know who it was.
I do.
But I think you might. But anyway.
Well, you'll have to tell me because it's not coming to me right now. But we should probably move on to the next thing anyway.
Anyway.
I'll just stick my 2 cents in here. It is definitely a balancing
act. That's what he said.
Hey, it's a lot more than 2 cents,
Two
baby.
against one.
So
Oh. Okay.
One adult. There's one adult on this show.
It is. No, totally. That is the state of things. No, it is. It's not even a balancing act. To me, it's not a swing between too much ego and too little ego. It's not even. I mean, there is that. You definitely don't want to be like knocking yourself down all the time, and you don't want to think that you're so. But what's more important to me is recognizing. It is not just like recognizing the importance of yourself, but recognizing the importance of other people. You know what I mean? It's like the other people that you're dealing with, whoever they are that they're dealing with, at least in their own minds, they have worth and significance and everything like that, and you should treat them that
is a good point. But the other side of that coin is that you need to, I think you have to, by trade, believe that your art is basically better than most of everything else that's out there. But
well, that's the corollary, is like you should believe that these people are like good and important and their work is worthy, and therefore you are an asset to them, and you can and then you're just two able-bodied,
awesome
is not
people connected to worth.
Right.
A person's self-worth. That they can be two separate things. I think that's a really good point.
Yeah.
And I think that's, no, go ahead. We got to move on.
All right, let's scoot on.
Go.
I'm gonna take it to straight up geek territory right now with one topic that should give Chad just a little bit of a boner, a little bit.
I already know about it, but
Chad's 2 cents is hard.
Sorry?
Chad's 2 cents is hard.
Yeah, it is. So two pretty cool trailers have come out since we did our last show, and they're both pretty exciting. First, we got the teaser trailer. You two, knock it off. First, we got the teaser trailer to Marvel's new Daredevil series, and I didn't totally get this before. I don't know why, but Daredevil is going to be a Netflix exclusive series produced by Netflix. It's not just like Marvel is like involved in the production, but it's not like Marvel is just like doing the series and then giving it to Netflix for distribution. It's Netflix and Marvel like hand in hand doing it together, which is like that actually, like, I'm not the biggest Daredevil guy, so a Daredevil series doesn't. Yeah, Daredevil is Chad's favorite superhero, for anybody who doesn't know. So the fact that there is a Daredevil series doesn't.
You guys have a favorite superhero. This makes me want to vomit.
Hey, you have a favorite theater actor, don't you?
Or musical.
You can't even pick one. You've got so many that. Yeah. Okay. So. Yeah. So anyway, the fact that it is produced by like Netflix in conjunction with Marvel makes me want to watch the series more than the fact that it is a Daredevil series. That's for me personally. Netflix is far from like a perfect production company. I mean, like Hemlock Grove, I fucking hated, and it is widely regarded as generally a piece of crap. But they've also produced really, really good shows like House of Cards and Orange is the New Black and et cetera, et cetera. So together with Marvel, and Marvel, like, you know, being there and being like, we're not going to fuck this up, they're probably going to make a really, really awesome series. So that comes on April 10th, and all episodes for the first season are going to be released at once because that is how Netflix do. That's pretty freaking exciting. And if Daredevil becomes like a big thing, we could see a lot of like the lesser known superheroes like getting their own series, and just it's very exciting.
And it's not by itself. There's two other series. That they're releasing.
They're already. Yeah. I gotta say, I really want to see the Iron Fist because they're all around the Iron Fist. They're doing a Luke Cage series and a Jessica Jones series and like all these different things. But they have like, I just want the Iron Fist so bad.
That's what she said.
Hey-o!
I like it when I embarrass Garrett Robinson. He turns all red.
Oh no, that's just for me laughing, and the fact that like blood is generally very close to the surface of my skin these days. What with the sauna, like I feel like I'm always on a slow boil.
Guys, is my face dark?
It's like, pretty dark.
It seems like it's getting less light, but every light that is on is the same light that's on usually when I'm here.
What's on your computer screen? Because generally, if you have a very white computer screen, that will.
That might be what it is.
If you change your desktop
gamma.
background or something.
Gamma
I was
may
going to comment on how dark your face was, but I didn't want to be
have- So
racist.
confused.
So the second trailer.
Oh, there you go.
We'll
Ah,
leave
you see what I
that be.
So the
Better,
second
right?
trailer that came along is a teaser trailer for the Fantastic Four. I'm not as excited about this one.
Neither am
I've
I.
never been a big Fantastic Four guy. And this is another Marvel property that is owned and being produced by someone that's not Marvel, and those are not usually as good as the homegrown stuff. But what is intriguing is that I feel like this is the first reboot that just varies crazy wildly
Yeah.
from any original source material.
It looks like the CW. It looks like SNL did a sketch of the CW doing Fantastic Four. That's what the trailer looks like.
The trailer is not that
Wait,
bad.
I need
It's like a
wow.
CW. It looks like a CW.
SNL did a sketch.
It's
of-
all young people now. It's like, what are you doing? Reed
Yeah.
Richards is not that. Come on.
Yeah. No,
It's-
that's
Maybe we're just getting old.
It's just honestly, it comes off really ageist to me. It does. It comes
Really?
off very ageist to me.
really.
It does. Why do they have to make Reed Richards in his 20s? It makes no sense. It
Yeah.
makes no sense. He's
Sure.
graying on the sides. He's an older guy. He's the smartest man in the world. Come on.
That's the thing is like they're changing the character, and I'm not talking about the fact that they made the Human Torch black. Like if you've got a huge problem with
Then
that,
make his sister black too, though. I mean, come on.
that's the thing is like they're not related anymore. So
They're not?
so wait, is this the Fantastic Four? Like, or is this just four superheroes that have the same powers? Like, is Reed Richards still going to be a super genius? Because if he's
Maybe it should be the Fabulous Four. It should be the Fabulous Four.
That's a whole other film.
Fabulous Four.
And they're not getting
That's
their they're not getting their powers from gamma rays in space flight. So that's another. It's just like, why are they doing
Use the
this?
sentence. They're not getting their power from gamma rays and space lights. That just came out of your mouth.
Yeah,
That's the story. He's just talking about the story of the regular Fantastic Four.
the regular Fantastic Four get.
By
their
the
powers.
way,
Yeah.
on this same topic, have you heard about the sort of warfare that's going on between Marvel and basically everybody that they can't get their properties back from, like Fox and Sony?
No.
They're
Oh.
basically shutting down the comic books. Like,
What?
Oh, I did hear about this.
Put them in the vault?
No, they're stopping production on any comic book series that is like owned by a production company that's not them.
yeah, where they can't get the movie rights back because they sold them a
Holy
long time
shit.
ago. Yes, it's
Crack it
fascinating.
down, Marvel. Now, see, that's badass.
Marvel's playing pretty fucking hardball.
Yeah. Kevin,
Yeah.
and they should take it back because Kevin Feige should rule the world of comic books anyway, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He should just, I will bow down before the rule of Kevin Feige because he's earned it.
Yeah, I'm in virtually every case, I completely agree. I'm like, nope, Sony's fucked up Spider-Man, Fox has fucked up the Fantastic Four. I do like a lot of things that Fox has done with the X-Men, but they were also responsible for X3. So,
Yeah.
you know,
I mean, to what degree do we hold a production studio responsible for the shittiness or lack thereof of their film?
100%.
I know, right? I mean, like, is that really a question? It's like, to what degree
All
do
right,
I...
fine.
The
What
thing
degree
you
do we-
make, is it really your fault
I
you just
really
made
like
that
playing
turd?
devil's advocate sometimes. I like getting you guys riled up. Sometimes it works. Sometimes you call my fucking bluff, okay? Fun.
Get out. I will put it out there, though. I will put it out there that I hope Fox manages to produce a good superhero movie with the reboot. I'm not holding my breath. So
Yeah.
that's my thing. Chad, you have interesting
Good.
data about money.
Yes.
Lots of money.
Apple reported $74 billion in its first fiscal quarter of this year, which, by the way, what?
No, carry on.
Oh, that's a lot of money. Yes, there you go. You may have even heard about it because it's been all over the news because it's like more than like even the oil companies made. But this is the thing. It sounds like it's a lot, but Apple makes the vast majority of its money in its releases. So it makes it like all at once. And then they have to build to a new release. Then they'll make a lot of money again. And not only that, so that kind of mitigates how amazing that was, and it was amazing. But it's not. They're actually, believe it or not, losing market share at the same time because this 74 billion, if they had maintained the same percentage of cell phone sales across the board in the entire market as they've had in the past, it would have been even more than that. And so they've been losing basically, even though it was 74 billion, they've actually lost 2% of market share. Which, again, both of these are not good news for that. So that 74 billion can keep them for a while, but you can't, you have to keep making profits to be a successful corporation. So to go after a more sustainable market, apparently leaks in the Apple world have been saying that they're looking for monthly subscription services to compete in the TV space. So, not to recap.
Of course they are.
Of course they are. And this is obviously my beat.
Get
I've been talking about this for a while. I don't know what that's a reference to, but so just to recap for you all, not only is HBO, Showtime, ESPN now, and Overstock.com of all fucking places trying to get into this business, but now apparently behind the scenes, so is Apple. So I'm not going to repeat how amazing that is for independent people, but if you wanted to know how much I believe that the smart money is moving towards solid indie production, you could listen to any of the Film Geeks from the past year. Anyway, that's all on that.
I want to tell just a funny little thing relating to Apple and Android and everything like that. You know how YouTube has ads? You might have watched an ad before watching this YouTube video, and there's the 15-second ones that you can't skip, and then there's the ones that you can skip after 5 seconds. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Samsung. After the iPhone 6 was announced and the 6 Plus, which the 6 Plus is like a phone that's like really like a mini tablet, which. Yeah. To be clear, I'm totally on board with. I actually want one of those. That's all up in my business. I like that. But the Samsung started this ad campaign on YouTube talking about the Galaxy Note, which is the same type of thing. And it's a phone that's existed for like 4 or 5 years or something like that. And it's big. It's like a mini tablet, and it's got a huge fucking screen and everything like that. And it's a relatively successful phone. But here are the first 5 seconds of the ad, after which you always click the skip button. So this is all you hear of the ad every time you see it on YouTube. When the Samsung Galaxy Note first came out, tech magazines and online reviewers called it ridiculous, way too big, and a huge misstep by Samsung. Skip ad. Literally, that's the ad. And then, I was like, what the fuck? So I went on to watch the rest of the ad, and of course it's like, but now Apple's doing the same thing as we are, and it's just like, do you even recognize what medium you are advertising on? Like, what the fuck, you idiots? Yeah. Anyway,
some media buyer.
It's a stupid, funny little thing. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, hey, so look, I get to talk now.
Yay!
It's been a very long time.
Been that long.
Whatever. I just like to draw attention to the film grosses for this week. I mean, I know, we all look at it. It makes me a little sad, a little terrified, just a little sad. Just in case you haven't heard or read, the new SpongeBob movie is the top grossing movie this week at $56 million. Sponge fucking Bob.
I will fight you on this. SpongeBob is actually
for people with kids, especially adults.
Great.
With kids.
No, it's great. It's great for kids. Great. Sure. But really? Yeah. Okay. Great for kids. Sure. Okay.
And for adults with kids, even better, because it's something.
That's the thing. It's one of those shows that you watch it and you're like, you're making that kind of joke.
My kids aren't getting that joke.
Yeah.
I know a guy who used to work on the video game when Heavy Iron Studios had it, and he was telling me that he had tried to slip in some really dark references. Like there was some serial killer named Fish, some lady named something Fish, and so he made a fish with her name, with her first name, and she was really, he put her in. I don't think it got through. But he did try to slip it in there. Anyway, so you were saying?
Oh, that's what he did. No, I just like there's a sadness when I saw how much Jupiter Ascending made, and I was so excited about it. I haven't seen it yet. I was like, the 170, it was I think $179 million Crazy Pants SFX movie from the Matrix folks made $19 million.
Really? Opening weekend?
Opening weekend, epic fail. And then what? Next week, $6 million, and then it's just going to be like one of the biggest flops ever, and it's just going to make me sad because these people can't make a movie like The Matrix ever again, and it makes me very sad.
You know, I wonder though. Do you think? Hey, hello, guy. Hey, fella. There's a guy right behind Michelle. It's awesome. What's up?
Nothing to see here. Leave me alone.
You should bring him on the show.
Do not
I'll
do
send
that.
the invite.
At least he's wearing pants. Just don't forget about that.
Not always the case.
I forgot what I was saying. I completely forgot what I was saying.
Yeah, I want to go see the movie before I make any judgments, but like, it's been critically not received very well, and I'm like,
It's Rotten Tomatoes.
I will check it out right now. But
But we knew that. We knew that from the ads. I looked at it and was like, oh, really? Another bad one? Really? Like, why?
22%.
Oh wow!
That's awful.
Is there
And
a film
40
with
and
an
51
SAT
from audience.
51 from all. That's awful. SpongeBob, that's really good.
SpongeBob. It just makes me
man.
sad. It makes me so sad.
And
Anyway.
what's annoying to me? Okay, here's the thing though. Well, no, that doesn't really justify my argument. Because I fucking loved Cloud Atlas, and it didn't do what it needed to do at the box office for the way it was produced and the budget and everything like that. But I fucking love that movie. But it does have 66 from both critics and audiences on Rotten Tomatoes. So
I enjoyed it too.
looks like we're looking at a different.
That's
I
too
want to
bad.
go see it. I still want to go see it.
Yeah, me too. I want to change the subject. I'm getting depressed.
Damn it. Michelle,
So,
why did you make
anyway.
us sad? That's usually Chad's job.
Well, here I'll talk. You're muted, Michelle. I'm not sure why, but you're muted.
Being sad? What? What's that? What's Chad's job?
Making us
making
sad.
people sad. Making
No.
that is my job.
No.
Do you mind if I move on? May I?
No, go for it. Talk.
Okay.
Tell us about things.
Super
Tell
quick.
us about Exploding Kittens.
Super quick Exploding Kittens update. That crazy card game that is on Kickstarter right now, if you don't know what Exploding Kittens is, by Alon Lee and the Oatmeal and another guy, Shane something. Anyway, it's still crushing it on Kickstarter at more than $5.6 million. It has already passed the Reading Rainbow campaign, which had the sixth most funded project on Kickstarter status when it ended at just over 5.4 million. So it's destroyed that, and it's creeping up on Veronica Mars, which has just a little bit more than 5.7 million. So the top four projects are still gadgets, which is something I talked about in an article I wrote a little bit ago, and they're and there's only 11 days left in the Kickstarter campaign for Exploding Kittens, so it is possible that it will creep up on maybe the fourth position, but with its current growth rate, it's by no means certain that will happen. The top spot is held by Coolest Cooler at just under 13.3 million. Second, Pebble at just under 10.3 million, and then the third is by the Ouya game console at almost 0.6 million. So given the gap and the fact that it's been kind of a recent slowdown of pledges on the Exploding Kittens campaign, it's not likely to hit there, or it's possible, but it's not entirely likely. But it very well may hit the fourth spot, which is the Pono Music console, which has 6.2 million. So right now, 5.6 to 6.2 in 11 days, entirely possible. And the card game makers are making the last stretch goals, really weird and fun. Like they're making fans take photos of things and selfies and whatnot and tag them in a particular way so that they can rate them. And like one thing, for instance, is you need to take a photo of 50 people wearing cat ears for one, or post 25 pictures of beard cats, which apparently has already happened. It's like a cat photoshopped into somebody's beard. So like someone posted one of George R.R. Martin and they photoshopped the face of a cat as if it's coming out of his beard, stuff like that. But the ones that I'm interested in seeing is 10 Batmans in a hot tub, photo of 10 Batmans, or 5.
Chad, let's do it. Let's get on it. I can make this happen, Chad. My whole life has led me to this moment.
Wow. Just wow. I am
5
convinced
Spider-Mans in one kayak. That's a good one.
I am convinced that the success of this entire Kickstarter is largely due to the name.
Yeah.
Exploding Kittens is the best name
I
ever.
wrote a whole article about it. I
just want to say, and like, I've been involved. I've never directly run a Kickstarter campaign myself, but I've been involved in a few. Michelle, you ran one for Unsaid, et cetera, and like I've heard all the things, all the stuff people say to do. You know, you got to have a $25 reward because 75% of all Kickstarter donations are $25. You got to have a this, you got to have a that. You have to have a lot of rewards and like build all these things into it. This has 4 rewards, and all you're doing is buying different levels of deck. That's it. It's like, here's the real key to success on Kickstarter. Have an insanely popular person be involved with the project. Like,
well, that's all that other stuff is important if you're not insanely popular. If you don't have the oatmeal, like that's the key. I mean, the thing is the oatmeal has had. A, he's got an enormous amount of fans, but B, he's already mobilized these fans multiple times.
Totally.
I mean, the Bear Love Good Cancer Bad project is one of the funniest things that has ever happened online. And that was him. And he's done this before. It's never been this big, but it's also he's never had something that people could actually buy from him before. And I think that's what's kind of people like him. He's a genuine guy. And he's activated his public so much in the past, and now they have the opportunity to actually get something from him instead of just helping him with some crazy stunt that he's pulling.
Right.
You know.
Pretty incredible.
Yeah.
By the way, one of these achievements is create an Exploding Kittens Wikipedia page. I think by posting that. Yeah, I think by posting that, you have violated Wikipedia's like rules. Like, you're not supposed to ask people to create. I just want to say right now, achievement for the audience of the We Make Movies Film Geeks podcast: create a Wikipedia page for the We Make Movies Film Geeks podcast. If you do that achievement, I will do an entire show with my shirt off.
What?
I don't know if that's an incentive or
do I have to be part of that?
I don't know if that's
somebody in the hierarchy at Wikipedia just banned a Film Geeks page from ever being created. All right, we got to be moving on. Michelle, why don't you talk to us about reality? Tell us some real stuff.
Wow, that's an introduction. No, and I feel like we can learn a lot from reality. I know we're filmmakers and we don't give a shit about reality, but like we should, because there's a shit ton of money, and in my opinion, it's not going anywhere. So we discovered this new podcast that's like, oh my god, you talk for 15 minutes about superheroes. Chill the fuck out. So
superheroes are interesting.
Fine. Next, Garrett's turn.
No, go on with your reality. I'm just expressing my opinion of reality, which is not high. That's all that's happening.
I get it. It's not your turn.
I'll go get some tea while you talk about reality.
So I discovered this podcast about like producing reality television and like pitching and stuff like that, and it's hilarious. And they're like just about as irreverent as we are. They drop the F-bomb. They like talk about ridiculous things, and it's interesting. So it's called the Jay and Tony Show. And I listened to a few episodes of it, and it actually, a lot of it relates to scripted. I mean, they talk about pitching, and they talk about, like, how to sell something, and, like, who to sell it to, and, like, finding your niche, and, like, it's really, really interesting. So anyway, they're the executive producers, and they discuss the business and inner workings of reality television. It's really fun and interesting. And they share, like, stupid behind-the-scenes stories, like, dude, this time we met with Simon Cowell, and he sent us to a strip club, and it was really fucking funny, and then, like, everybody, like, whatever. Anyway, so check it out on iTunes. Just a little pitch.
By the way, while you're over there, perfect time. Check us out and give us a review and a rating. We're going to mention it again at the end of the show, but hey, it's a nice segue. May as well just talk about it. Yeah. No, but seriously, we would love it if you would leave us a review and a rating on iTunes. It helps other people find us and everything. But that's cool. That is a good podcast. I need more things to listen to because I spend a lot more time in the car these days, going back and forth.
It's kind of entertaining. Like these, like it's not like listening to boring people. These guys are funny, and they, like, have really interesting, hilarious anecdotes. And a lot of it,
are they better than us? You don't ever want to tell the audience about a podcast that's better than us.
No one would ever be better than us. And I mean, Garrett's going to take his shirt off next week. What the hell?
Not if there's no Wikipedia page.
Anyway, but a lot of it relates to scripted and, like,
you've just guaranteed that.
I don't know. Chad just put on his, like, Marvin Gaye voice. And, like, I don't know. Garrett's going to take his shirt off. I'm going to talk low, like, Chad.
That is like the opposite of a Marvin Gaye
that's Marvin
voice.
Gaye.
I just want to say.
Yeah. Barry White,
like
maybe?
Barry White, there we go.
Barry White. Nat King Cole, maybe.
Absolutely.
Whatever. Chad just put on his sexy voice.
Well, I'm gonna skip along, and I'm gonna dispense some wisdom to y'all right now.
Ooh.
Well, it's a podcast of wisdom.
Consider yourself having arrived at the wisdom dispensary. That's not a thing.
What was it? Was that English?
Nope, it was not. So I'm doing too many things right now. This is an honest truth. I'm doing too many things by far, and as a result, I'm not getting a lot of things done, like a lot of things that I need to be getting done. I kind of sometimes feel like I'm just working on a lot of things. You know when you take too many things on and everything like that. I know that's a common refrain from me. Yeah. No, neither of you know anything of what I'm talking about. But there's the things that, like, I'm working on that, like, I love to do, and the things that, like, I know are long-term smart. Like, filmmaking and writing books is long-term smart because it builds towards a future that I eventually want. And then there's the things that I love to do, like, spending time
on set with Michelle.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, that's just, like, the most fun thing in the world. But then there are things that, like, I have to do right now just to keep things going and make rent and all that sort of stuff, and which, like, you guys and anybody listening to the show can relate to. You've got, like, the things that you have to take care of right now, and that can make other things fall further and further behind and, go on the back burner and yada, yada, yada. But one thing that I have realized in myself, like, I actually just spent a lot of time thinking about this yesterday, and I am going to try to fix, is, like, a lack of communication about things, which I think is almost worse than lack of getting done the things that you're working on. Like, Michelle's twitching right now because I am
twitching. I'm just about to do the rest of this podcast with my shirt off. Garrett, this is the best segment that has ever happened ever.
Well, just because he's saying it doesn't mean it's going to change.
Hey.
Amazing.
But I am not always the easiest person to get a hold of. I don't always keep information flowing like I should so that people know what's actually happening, and that can be frustrating for other people.
Frustrating for your producer, because then your producer is like, well, shit, I had a deadline, and then your producer is like, well, he's a good writer, but then I don't know if I want to produce any more stuff, but if things change, that would be great, and it's fun, it's wonderful.
But we are going to get a film done very quickly, and then you will see it, and you will just, all of the doubts and reservations will fly from your mind. Fly!
I can help you with this, Garrett.
Oh, we should talk after the show then.
Yes,
that would be fantastic. Literally, it's just
and
sound.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is how we make movies works. That's how it works.
We
I
talk
can
about
help you with this, and then
We talk
we
about
do
it.
shit. Yep.
Yeah, so that's actually really cool. Now I want to finish the show very quickly so we can talk about it. But 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 yesterday, like after I sort of like decided that and like decided, I'm going to turn over the whole new leaf and everything like that. Like I got in touch with a client who had hired me for 2 different jobs that I was way off schedule on, and I just informed him like total full disclosure honesty of everything that had been going on and like what my situation was, and then I finished one of the projects as quickly as I could and sent it to him. And like there was no negative reaction, which I feel like is the mindset that you can get into. Like I've worked with you guys a lot, and I know that you don't necessarily have as much of a problem with this as I do, unless you do in other circumstances, but you guys are always like very, very open and free. But I feel like once you start kind of locking yourself in, you're then afraid to open back up because you're going to let in all of the anger and the frustration of the other people. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
It's a little
Michelle's muted
cerebral for me.
No. Yeah, I totally agree. No, I just unmuted myself.
Okay.
I think you lost me at some point. Can you say that again? Sorry.
Basically, you start kind of taking all too many things on, and then you start like falling behind your email, and you don't answer that
and you
text.
just give up.
And then you're like, now I can't answer the text because it's 3 days later, and you're gonna think I'm a total fucking asshole, and it's like that whole vicious.
Communication is key. Communication in anything. I mean, not just talking about you. Communication in anything.
Exactly.
But I mean,
the key is organization. That's the key. The key is organization, and the key is finding ways to limit unnecessary communication. And I have kind of in my life mastered that. Well,
that's true, but like limiting unnecessary communication for sure, but keeping necessary communication is, I think, more what I'm talking about right now, because that's what I'm bad at. You know what I mean? And what happened when I like got in communication with this guy was there was no there was no negative reaction, and he additionally hired me for like another job which was even bigger than like both of the other 2 combined that I had already been working on him for. And when I responded with okay, but as I said, I've got all these things going on, it's going to need to wait until this time, he was like, cool, no problem. It was just like
you were working on him for. I just wanted to point that out to you.
Yes.
Because I thought that was funny. Continue.
That was a mistake. I write. I can good write.
I write good.
Anyway, so like we said, the point is keep yourself honest, keep your communication going, and like I feel like if you can actually just communicate with people like the reality of the situation that is going on, they're less likely to get frustrated. Even if they want you to do something by a certain time and you're just like, hey, update, here's what I'm running into, I can't do it. Then they can be like, thank you for letting me know. And like, I'm not going to lie, you might get some like, but you said, and you're like, I know, but I'm letting you know, like, just realistically. But then you can work towards a solution. Then you can work towards figuring it out. And if they turn it into a whole thing of like, well, you've ruined my life, well, then maybe,
wrap it up and get out of that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's probably not the best person to do.
It's also choosing your projects wisely and choosing what and like knowing how and knowing your worth. To go back to Chad's original segment, like I think having confidence in your worth as an artist and what you're doing. I know, full circle, right?
Full circle.
What a wonderful phrase. So, and being able, because Garrett, like, I suck at saying no. I really suck a lot at saying no. And I end up...
Me too.
Yeah, so I end up having, like, way too many projects, and I don't have enough time. And then the things that I give a shit about, like, I'm hosting red carpet at the Pasadena Film Festival in, like, 4 days, and I'm, like, interviewing Eric Roberts, and I haven't even done any research on Eric Roberts. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, I should watch his film that's in the festival, things like that. So, but then because I've said yes to so many other random projects that other people have asked me to do, and so I agree with you, which actually brings me into my segment, which is very interesting. So when I was going to college, my mom always told me the best way to judge a neighborhood was to look at the type of cars and the condition of the cars parked on the street in the neighborhood. So, you know, if there's you get it. So it's proven to be good advice for many years. So I have some advice for actors and representation. When choosing an agency, the best way to judge an agency's efficiency is phone calls. So when you go to visit your agent or your potential agent, if you step into a meeting and you're there for like 30 minutes and like maybe the phone rings once, step the fuck away. Yeah? No one picks up the phone. Maybe it's on silent, like maybe, I don't know, whatever, but don't do it. Don't do it. Get the heck out. Stat. It should be constantly ringing. There should be people running around and doing things, and it should not be quiet, and they should not be out for lunch or
what if there's
whatever.
A fire? What if that's why they're running around?
Maybe, but I would rather.
Well, then get out even faster.
Here's the thing about LA is like people say you need to be represented by someone. Being represented by someone is better than not being represented at all. And I think that's bullshit. And I think going back to what Chad said, I think it's valuing yourself as a person, as an artist, and like knowing what you do. So my advice is go big. Like being rep by a shitty agency that people know is shitty. What does that say about you? I mean, like, not to be harsh, but that says you're shitty. You know what I mean? That says you're I'm with such and such agency. People are like, oh yeah, that place, you know. So like maybe if it's right for you, then great, bust move. But don't be desperate, actors. Don't be desperate. If you can smell it, they can smell it a mile away. Like I can smell it, and I can't smell much. So like representation is everything in this town.
The best quotes. I just saw a transcript. While I was away grabbing tea, apparently you said, I suck a lot.
I suck a lot.
Oh, my God.
It was pretty incredible.
I don't even want to know the context.
What? It doesn't matter.
No, I agree. I think it's important to notice the... Sorry, continue.
No, it's fine. So I have one more thing because it's been driving me crazy. Representation is everything in town, and like while I'm at it, actors, like look at your social media. If you're friends with like any casting directors, writers, producers, other actors, because you never know who's producing shit. Don't put personal stuff on Facebook. If it's personal and it's great, yay, great. My sister had a baby, awesome. Not like, oh my God, I'm having the worst day. I had a bad callback. I owe shit ton of money on taxes. Seriously, don't do it. Because if you're Facebook friends or you tweet anybody, don't do it, because then Joe Schmo person is going to be like, oh, well, I was going to call them in for that audition, but it looks like their head's out of the game, so fuck that.
One thing I'd also like to add to that is, because I was actually just talking to an actress friend of mine who works. She works a lot. She gets a lot of gigs, and she goes.
Works.
Yeah.
What?
She goes.
Works? God,
she goes on.
Like...
No, I mean, as opposed to anyway, she goes on a ton of auditions too, like big, high-profile auditions. She doesn't book a ton of those, but she does book some of the smaller ones on a regular basis. And she is her social media is all but non-existent. And I think that's. I mean, yes. Absolutely, don't put recognize what your online persona is, and recognize that you need to be generating fans as well as colleagues. So it's not just about that's what I mean. Look at the oatmeal. You know what I mean? That guy has made his personal life in some ways of a hilarious comedy that everybody can be a part of, in essence, and he's been doing it for years, And I think that if you can get a sort of external concept of yourself, a vision of yourself, of how you would want your fans or whatever to see you, that is the persona you need to put onto your social media, onto your Twitter, onto your Facebook, and work into your everyday life the means of, and that's why I think with people like the oatmeal. Yeah, but the thing is it doesn't it shouldn't be something really far from you. It should be very true to who you are genuinely, but obviously you want to limit it to the good stuff, and you want to limit it to, you know what I mean? That it should ring true, but it should also but you should do it, is the point, and you should find a way to do it on a regular basis.
Yeah, you know who is really good at that? Who has one of my favorite online, everything, is a writer named Chuck Wendig. He is a hybrid author. He has self-published and traditionally published books, and his blog and his social media and everything is just like so on point, and you're just like, I want to hang out with this guy. He's fucking awesome. And so that makes
That's
you
great.
yeah, really,
It's
really
like
him.
Amy Paffrath. She's great. She has the hosting career of my dreams, and her social media is everything. She puts everything on social media, but in a good way. She's always taking like, "Hey, I'm at the gym." You know what I mean? Like, it's me on a red carpet. Here's me with my dog looking cute in the, like in my bed, and it's always, and then obviously she gets tons of followers, so everybody's like, ooh, she's hot. She puts up a lot of pictures, and then it's great, and then she gets great jobs. So anyway, the theme of today's podcast, don't be a douchebag.
Yay!
Don't be a dick.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, we will move on towards wrapping up the show then, because that's pretty much everything important we have to talk about. No, that's not true. We have other important things. For example, community news. Very, very important. Exciting things happening in the community. This Wednesday, we have Games Night. That is the event happening this Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. at the Theater Asylum in Hollywood, in the middle of Los Angeles. Come on by. If you're an actor or anybody else, really, it's just fun. It's fun. It's Games Night. It's cool. Come by, hang out with everybody. 7:30
Sound like
p.m.
a Beatle all of a sudden.
It's so fun.
Come on, dude.
Come on down. It's
Come on down.
yeah, you're messing me up. You're doing it wrong. Now I
know I'm
can't
doing it wrong. I'm doing it like if the Beatles were from Northern Ireland. That's how I was doing it.
Yeah, exactly. So 7:30 p.m. Theater Asylum in Hollywood. Another reminder, please go to iTunes and rate the show. Very, very helpful to help people find us and listen to the show and all that kind of good stuff.
Unless you hated it, and then you just fucking
if you hated it, don't go rate it. Or rate it and lie and say that you liked it.
It was good anyway.
These
Just
are
because we're good people.
Yeah.
Things to know. Tonight, if you're free, 7:30.
Patreon.
Patreon. It's fucking. It should totally be Patreon.
Go.
Patreon.
You didn't make it. You did not make it, Garrett.
Go.
Yeah, but you know what? That doesn't matter.
Anyway.
Anyways, that's too long of a discussion to have here, but all I'm saying is GIF. It's GIF. Even though the guy who created it said GIF, it's still GIF. Patreon. We have a Patreon
Wrong
that
in
supports.
both cases.
No.
You guys done?
Yeah, the guy who. Anyway, Patreon. We have a Patreon. Patreon.
Yes.
Oh my
Okay,
God!
good. Now I can't even know if I'm saying it right.
It's like Patreon. Patreon.
Hey, tell you what, Chad. Why don't you tell our listeners about
So Patreon, our Patreon campaign, brand new for 2015, doing really well. It is how we are doing what we're doing now, since we no longer have our generous sponsorship. But now our new generous sponsor is you, if you want to be. And the good news is that we've hit all 4 targets already. So every penny that comes in gets chopped up into just a couple of things. 30% goes immediately to help our infrastructure so we can do more for you, and 70% goes into making productions, basically. So we already have a rolling production fund. It's pretty much up to me to dig in and find out exactly how much that is, since our CFO is about to get married on Friday. She's a little ocupado, so I have to kind of dig around and see how much that is, but it's going to be a certain amount of money, and it's already there. It's sitting there, and I'm going to tell you all about it. Anyway,
Yay,
$1
money.
million.
Before we end off, why don't we do the things to know? Michelle?
What's things
If
to
you're
know?
free tonight, 7:30, come to the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine. We're doing a We Make Movies screening series. We're screening a few films, including Hateful Sensations, which is this fun horror flick. Coming out, $5 suggested donation at the door. Have a few drinks, meet the We Make Movies community, make some connections, hang out. It'll be fun.
I would love to.
Q&A with the filmmakers afterwards. I'll be there.
I would love to. I cannot keep myself from the alcohol, so while I'm cleansing, I will stay away.
I can't because I'm stuck editing tonight, but I will
didn't
tell you
ask
my
you
things
guys,
to know.
I asked our listeners.
Sorry?
I wasn't
Sorry?
talking to you.
Oh. Anyway, couple things. I have two quick things to know. One is the Baked ZD Kickstarter campaign is still rolling. We're moving along at just over 50. I think just over 5,300 right now, going for 14.5. Have about 2.5 more weeks left. So jump on board. Go to wemakemovies.org/BZ, and it'll take you immediately to the Kickstarter campaign. So check that out. Also, my most recently completed as a director short film is called Tuesday Morning, and it is playing on Thursday afternoon, which might be confusing. But all you have to do is go to the Lemley 7 in Pasadena Thursday at 1 p.m. It's going to be during the very beginning of the Pasadena International Film Festival. So there you have it. Come on down.
And then if you want to
Tuesday
come
morning on
party
Thursday.
with us at the opening night
That's right.
party is at the
Westin
Hotel, yes, in Pasadena. I'll be there hosting Red Carpet, and Chad will be there with some of his filmmakers and some other famous people and some cocktails and awards, starting around 6:30, 7 o'clock.
Nice.
Fantastic. If I'm done with my cleanse by that point, I am going to come get drunk.
Just come to the screening.
I'll probably do that regardless, but if I'm done, then that after party.
Excellent.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen,
that will be it for this week's episode of the We Make Movies Film Geeks podcast. Thank you to the live people who tuned in and watched. We had Matt Hunt in the comments. Always good to see you, Matt. How's it going? Miss Astro Stone was in there. Good to hear from all of you guys. And we will be here next week when we have a special guest. Yeah?
No.
That's right. No, 22nd. We'll have a special guest on the 22nd, yes.
Okie doke. So make sure to tune in. 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is when that happens on this very YouTube channel for the live show. And if you are an audio listener, that is youtube.com/WMM Originals. I'm Garrett Robinson. You can find me at garrettbrobinson.com. Chad Kukuhiko can be found at superfreako.com. And Michelle is on Twitter at mlukadu. We'll see you next week, everybody. Goodbye.